So if the magnitude of sum of two vectors is equal to magnitude of difference of two vectors, the angle between these vectors is, tell me.
180 degrees, sir.
Option D, sir.
Option D is correct. Okay, if magnitude of sum of two vectors is equal to magnitude of difference of two vectors, then the angle between these vectors is. So see, sum of two vectors and difference of two vectors, if we solve it using this way, it will take some time. Okay, so of course we can solve it. So if you keep, this is suppose your A bar, this is B bar, okay, and this is the resultant, this is suppose R. Now the resultant of A bar minus B bar sorry okay, so this is A bar and this is minus B bar. So it's given that resultant of A bar and B bar, A bar plus B bar is this one, resultant of A bar minus B bar is this one. Okay, this is suppose S bar. So magnitude of this one is equal to magnitude of this one. So this thing can only happen in one case, when the angle between A bar and B bar is 90 degrees. Then only the resultant of addition and resultant of subtraction, okay, will have equal magnitude.
Clear, sir.
Okay, so now if you are able to think this way, it's good, but otherwise also this is a sure shot question. Okay, you should attempt this, because if you add the two vectors, so you have R equals to what? Square root of A square plus B square plus 2AB multiplied by cos of theta. Okay, and if you are subtracting them, now what should you do? So resultant will be equal to what? Square root of, okay, for an example I will have to draw it. This is A bar and this is B bar. Okay, this is A bar, this is B bar. So how much is angle between them? It's theta. Now if I draw minus B bar, okay, so subtraction is addition only. So this is A bar and this is minus B bar. How much is this angle? 180 minus theta, right? It is 180 minus theta. So this one is suppose S, okay, resultant of subtraction, so it will be square root of A square plus B square, okay, plus 2AB multiplied by 180 minus theta, okay, and R is equal to S. R is equal to S. That means square root of this thing is equal to square root of this thing. And what does that mean? It means that 2AB cos of theta is equal to 2AB 180, okay, multiplied by cos of, I didn't write cos, sorry, so cos of 180 minus theta. Okay, cos of theta is equal to cos of 180 minus theta. Oh no, I'm sorry, what I'm doing. So this is equal to this. Okay, yeah, it's correct actually. So cos of theta is equal to cos of 180 minus theta, right? So this will be equal to minus cos of theta. Okay, so when is it equal? I'm sorry, when will these two be equal? Okay, a number is equal to negative of that number. For which number it is true? Can I say 2 is I'm sorry, can I say half is equal to minus half?
No, sir.
I can say only if number is equal to 0, right? 0 is equal to minus 0.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 0 is equal to minus 0. That means cos of theta is equal to 0, and for which angle cos is 0? 90 degrees, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a sure shot question. Okay, and because I am writing and explaining, it's taking some time. It will not take time for you. Okay, so you will just say in your mind only, this will be a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. The other one will be what? The other angle will be 180 minus theta. So cos of theta is cos of 180 minus theta. So that means cos of theta is, what is cos of 180 minus theta? Is minus cos theta. Okay, so cos of theta is equal to minus cos theta. So how can this be equal? So here maybe you will write it down, cos theta is equal to minus cos theta. That means cos theta must be 0. Okay, anyways, maybe it will take 1.5 minutes at max, but this is sure shot, right? So you should attempt this question. All right, let's see next one. Two equal vectors have resultant equal to either of the two. The angle between them is. Two equal vectors have resultant equal to either of the two. The angle between them is. What should we do? So R is equal to, suppose magnitude of A bar is equal to magnitude of B bar. This is given, and R bar is the resultant. So I can say R square is equal to A square plus B square plus 2AB multiplied by cos of theta. So suppose this is equal to A only, or let's say this is equal to, yeah, this is A only, and R is also equal to A. Okay, the two equal vectors have resultant equal to either of the two. So resultant magnitude is also equal to what? Magnitude of first one or magnitude of second one. Therefore, what will you get here? So I can say this is A square is equal to A square plus A square plus 2 times A square. A into B is also A square multiplied by cos of theta. Or you move this on other side, this will get cancelled out. So 2A square is minus A square. 2A square cos theta is minus A square. Okay, so A square and A square will get cancelled. Cos theta is minus 1 by 2, and therefore, okay, how much will be the angle?
Option C, sir.
Right, it's option C. Right, it's option C. Okay. So this thing you know, right? How to convert this? Cos of theta is minus half. So theta must be 120. This you know, right? We use this formula only. Which formula? Sorry, cos of 180 minus theta is equal to minus cos theta. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one, because cos 60 is half. Okay. Cos 60 is half. Alright. Let us see next one. If A bar is equal to B bar plus C bar, if A bar is equal to B bar plus C bar have scalar magnitudes of 5, 4, 3 units respectively, then the angle between A bar and C bar is. Okay, so can you tell me what should we do in this question? Yes. So do you know this pair 3, 4, 5? Is there something special about this pair?
Triangle, sir. Right angle triangle.
Right, you get a right angle, right? So 3 square plus 4 square is equal to 5 square, right? So if you have okay two vectors represented by the two sides. So this is 3 and 4. Okay, this is the first one, this is second one, and this is the resultant. So if this is 3, this is 4, then this will be 5. Okay, and this angle is 90 degrees. Okay, so then this is a common pair, right? 3 4 5 is a common pair. You can 3 and 4 is a common pair. Okay, so then the angle between A bar and C bar is, so this is A bar is equal to B bar plus C bar. So this is okay, which one is A? 5 is A, this is A, this is B, and this is C. So which one is B? This is B, this is C. Okay, so then you want angle between this one and this one, this angle theta. Tell me. Now it's simple.
Theta is equal to 53 degrees. Sir.
Okay, but you don't want that, no? You are given answers in cos inverse, sine inverse, and one answer is pi by 2. So it is simple. You find cos theta, it will be 3 by 5, right? Sine theta will be 4 by 5. So if you want theta, either it will be equal to cos inverse of 3 by 5, or it will be equal to sine inverse of 4 by 5. So check which answer is there.
Inverse of 4 by 5. Sir.
Yeah, but cos inverse of 3 by 5 is also there, right? Sine inverse of 4 by 5 is there. Okay, the opposite side is 4, hypotenuse is 5, and cos inverse of 3 by 5 is also there. So actually two of them are correct. Okay, there is a mistake in this question, or maybe I have got the half of this question. Okay, not the mistake, two answers are correct, right?
Yes, sir.
This is clear? Okay,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
let's see next one. If vectors, this is one vector, this is another vector, are equal vectors, then value of A is, this is very simple. What is value of A? Compare and tell. What? Which one?
Minus option E.
Option E. Okay, so minus A is equal to 5, so A must be equal to minus 5, right? It's option E. Good. Next one, if A bar plus B bar is C bar and A plus B is equal to C, then the angle included between A and B is, A bar and B bar is. So this is repeated one. Tell me the answer.
Sir, I couldn't understand the question, sir.
If A bar plus B bar is equal to C and A plus B is equal to C, so what is this? A means magnitude of A bar, B means magnitude of B bar. Okay, A bar plus B bar is C bar, and magnitude of A plus magnitude of B is equal to magnitude of the resultant. Then the angle between A and B is. Bold faces, can you see this? This is bold face, it means vectors. Okay, in our NCERT also vectors are represented by bold faces, and magnitudes are represented by what? What can we say? Not bold faces, right? Okay, so this is in bold,
Yes.
this is not bold. Okay, so these are vectors. What does this mean? Bold A means it is A bar, this is B bar, this is C bar, and these are the magnitudes. Okay, then the angle included between A bar and B bar is. So what's the answer? we just saw this. I think you only answered it is 0, right? It is this question, no? Okay. Yeah, this question. Magnitude of A bar plus B bar is equal to magnitude of A bar plus magnitude of B bar. So let's suppose A bar plus B bar. Sorry. Let's suppose A bar plus B bar is equal to C bar. Now if you take its magnitude, it will be magnitude of C bar. It's the same question, right? It's the same question. Just in this case, okay, they have not written that A bar plus B bar is equal to C bar and magnitude of C bar is equal to magnitude of A bar and magnitude of B bar. In this case, they have just given the resultant a name. Okay, they are just calling it C bar. Right, Raghu?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure, it's clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see next one. 3 forces A bar, B bar and C acting on a body to keep it in equilibrium, then C is. So tell me, what should we do in this case?
Sir, A plus B plus C is equal to 0, sir.
Right. Equilibrium means sum of all forces is equal to 0. Okay. So if you do A bar plus B bar plus C bar equal to 0, C bar will be equal to what? Minus of A bar plus B bar. Okay. That is minus of. You have 1 I cap plus 2 I cap.
Option A.
Is it option A? Let's check. 3 I cap. This is 1 J cap minus J cap. So J cap will not be there. Okay. Plus minus gets cancelled. And this is 1 K cap and 3 K cap. So 4 K cap. So plus 4 K cap. Right. Very good. It's option A. Okay. So this is very simple question. Next one. Of the vectors given below, the parallel vectors are A bar is equal to 6 I cap plus 8 J cap, B bar is equal to 210 I cap plus 280 K cap, and C bar is equal to 0.3 I cap plus 0.4 J cap, and D bar is equal to this thing. Okay. So then, what are parallel vectors of these?
Ratio must be equal, sir, in parallel.
Right, very good. So ratio must be equal. So if two vectors are parallel, then their direction is same. Okay. So this is suppose A bar and this is B bar. So I can say if the direction is same, then I can say that A bar is equal to, in this case, let's suppose 1.5 B bar. Okay. If B bar was this much, I could say 1 A bar is equal to 3 times B bar. Right. So A bar is equal to some constant times B bar. I can write this. Yes, no?
Sir, A and sorry, A and C is the answer, sir. Option B.
A and what?
A and C.
A and C. Okay, let's check. Yeah, that's true. Correct. Okay, so let me just finish this. So A bar is equal to C times B bar. So you can say A bar is equal to AX into I cap plus AY into J cap plus AZ times K cap. Okay. And it is equal to C times you have Bx times I cap plus By times J cap plus Bz times K cap. So now if you compare, if you divide Ax by Bx, so Ax will be equal to what? C times Bx. Similarly you can say Ay is equal to C times By. If you compare this side in this side, and Az will be equal to C times Bz. Therefore Ax upon Bx will be equal to C, that's equal to Ay upon By, and that's equal to Az upon Bz, that's equal to that constant C. Okay, so if ratio of components of two vectors are equal, then the two vectors are parallel. Okay, and here you can very easily check that A bar and C bar, as Raghu said, they are parallel. So ratio is what? So 6 upon 0.3 will be how much? It is 20. It's equal to 8 divided by 0.4, that's 20. Right, Sai?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so answer is A bar and C bar. Okay, so if two vectors are parallel, we have to remember this, that ratio of their components will be equal. Okay, let's see next one. Minimum number of unequal vectors which can give zero resultant are. Tell me.
3, sir.
Raghu, will it be 3?
Sir, don't know, sir. Guessing, sir.
Okay.
No idea, sir.
Okay, no problem. So minimum number of unequal vectors which can give zero resultant are. So see, if you have two vectors, okay, you have two vectors and they are unequal, so actually they should say that unequal magnitude. So this one has this much magnitude and the other one. Now if you add two vectors and resultant is 0, that means magnitude of first one must be equal to magnitude of second one, and they should be acting in opposite direction, right? So this is A bar, this is B bar. Okay, so can you say these two vectors are unequal?
Yes, sir. The directions are in opposite.
Direction is opposite. Okay, so its answer will be actually 2, right, Sai?
Sir, if it is unequal means the magnitude differs only, no, sir?
No. If vectors are okay, so can you say that these vectors are equal?
Yes, sir. Even if they are equal only, they will cancel out and get and we will get zeros, sir. But they are mentioned as unequal vectors.
No. These vectors, this one is A bar, it is directed towards right. This one is B bar, it's directed towards left. These two vectors are not equal. Their directions are opposite to each other.
So there is need not any compulsion the magnitude to be different for an unequal vector.
No, there is no compulsion. Either magnitude can be different, either direction can be different.
Understood, sir.
Okay, so now this question is from AFMC. Okay, that means answer of this question will be there in almost all the texts. Okay, you might be having some text, okay, from MTG or do you have some books?
Yes, sir.
Okay, which one?
MTG fingerprint.
Okay,
MTG fingerprint.
okay, so its answer would be given in that book, but most probably they might have considered this answer. Okay, so now see here what this person who designed this question, he mean to say that the minimum number of vectors having different magnitudes. Okay, how many minimum number of vectors will you require whose magnitude is different to get 0 resultant? So its answer would be 3. Okay, but the question as it is, its answer is definitely 2, because if you have this vector and this vector, they are not at all equal. You can't say these two vectors are equal. Okay, so if this kind of question or this question itself is there in NEET, we can maybe they will say that this is the answer, but we can raise a complaint on this question and we can say that no, this is not correct, this is correct. Right? Actually, you have to mark 2. You will have to mark 2. Okay, not 3.
Okay.
Because 2 is correct answer and we can file a dispute. We can file a dispute. Okay, and ultimately actually what they will have to do, either they will have to give this one as correct, that they will have to accept that this is correct, this is wrong, or they will have to give everybody 4 marks. Right? So there is no compulsion on magnitude, okay, for two vectors to be unequal. So two vectors can be unequal if their magnitude is different or their direction is different or both are different. Okay, this is clear?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. All right, so its answer is 2 definitely. Okay, but now if vectors have unequal magnitudes only, okay, and nothing is given about direction, then answer would be 3. Let's see this next question. There are n coplanar vectors, each of magnitude v. Each vector is inclined to the preceding vector at an angle of 2 pi by n. What is the magnitude of their resultant? This is the question. Tell me. Can you guess?
No, sir.
Okay, so this is a conceptual question. So see, n coplanar vectors. So you have n vectors. Coplanar means they are in the same plane and their magnitudes are, magnitude of each one of them is v. Each vector is inclined to preceding vector at an angle of 2 pi by n. So let's start from 2. Okay, so now if n is equal to 2, right, so if we can't imagine, we can put some values. So n is equal to 2. What will be the angle between two vectors? So theta is 2 pi upon n. That means 2 pi upon 2. That's pi. So you have one vector like this and the other vector will be like this. So magnitude of both of them is equal. So this is your a bar, this is b bar. Okay, so now if you add these two, what will be their resultant?
Sir, can you repeat the question once again?
Question is, there are n coplanar vectors. You have n vectors coplanar. Okay, you can draw them on one plane only, not in space, of magnitude v. Okay, magnitude of all of them is equal. Each vector is inclined to preceding vector, to the previous vector at an angle of 2 pi by n. So that means you draw one vector and the other one will be inclined to this vector. So you draw this vector, the other one will be inclined by an angle of 2 pi upon n. If you have n vectors, okay, the angle will be 2 pi upon n. That means if you have two vectors, angle between the two will be 2 pi upon 2, right? N is 2. Okay, what is the magnitude of their resultant? This is the question.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so its answer is 0. Right? Actually, this is a theorem in maths. Okay, so they are asked, so they framed that theorem as a question. If you have if you have n coplanar vectors having equal magnitude and angle between them is suppose 2 pi upon n, then the resultant is equal to 0. This is a theorem. Okay, anyways, but I'm just explaining this. See, if n is equal to 2, we can start from simplest case. N is equal to 2, theta will be how much? It's 2 pi divided by n. N is 2. Okay, so theta will be equal to this 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So angle between them is pi. Pi means 180 degrees. So you draw first vector. So I'm calling it b bar. Second vector will be inclined at an angle of 180 degrees with the first vector. So this is a bar. So this vector and this vector, they have same magnitude, but they are directed opposite to each other. Okay, so the resultant will be how much? Resultant is 0. Got it? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sai.
Yeah, I don't get it, sir.
You got, okay, you have n vectors, they are coplanar and each one have equal magnitude. So this is fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now I chose n is equal to 2 only. Simplest case. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. N is equal to so I chose the simplest case. N is equal to 2. Okay, there cannot be simple case than this one. So n is 2, that means I have two vectors. Okay, and what is given? If they are inclined to each other at an angle of 2 pi upon n. So if n is 2, how much will be the angle? 2 pi divided by 2, right? That is, angle is pi.
Got it, sir. I got it now, sir.
Okay, good. So therefore now this is first vector, the angle between them is okay this much, and therefore the resultant will be what? It will be 0 because magnitude of the two is equal. That means b bar is equal to minus of a bar. So if you add them, the result will be 0. Okay, this is clear, right? We can take more examples. We can just increase the n. So do we need to do that? You can check
Yes,
it,
sir.
right? Okay, let's move to the next question. The angle between p bar and resultant of p bar plus q bar and p bar minus q bar is. Can you guess this? This one?
No, sir.
This is very simple. Resultant of p bar plus q bar and p bar minus q bar. What is resultant of these two? P bar plus p bar is 2p bar, and this q bar and minus q bar will get cancelled out. Resultant means you add them. Okay, so r bar is equal to p bar plus q bar plus p bar minus q bar. So r bar is equal to what? It's equal to 2p bar. Okay, so now what is angle between p bar and this r bar, or what is angle between p bar and 2p bar?
0 degree?
Right, it's 0 degree. Okay, if this is p bar, this will be 2p bar. Okay, this much will be 2p bar, right, Raghu? So angle between them is 0 degree.
Yes, clear, sir.
So, but
Yes,
sir,
yes.
how can we had the p bar plus q bar and p bar minus q bar as like normal addition?
Why can't we add?
That resultant of p bar plus q bar and p bar minus q bar. Like we are doing it as a normal addition only, no, sir? Are we allowed to do like this?
Yeah, we are adding vectors. Okay, see, this is one vector which is represented as two components. One is p bar, other one is q bar, and this is second vector whose two components are p bar and minus q bar. Okay, so you are adding them component by component.
Sir, if possible, can you show it in the diagram? this question.
In diagram? Yeah, can show it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so suppose this is your first vector. Okay, this is one vector which is equal to p bar plus q bar. Okay, this is q bar, right? This is my one vector, p bar plus q bar. Okay, and I have another vector which is equal to, okay, let's call these vectors as a and b. So this is my a bar, this is my b bar. Oh, okay, and b bar is equal to p bar minus q bar. So what is minus q bar? Minus q bar is just q bar rotated by 180 degrees. This is minus q bar. Okay, so you have a bar, you have I'm sorry, a bar and b bar. If you add these two, what will be the resultant? So there, these vertical components, they get cancelled. Horizontal components of both of them are p and p, so they get added, right? So resultant will be this much. Or you can complete the parallelogram if you like. Okay, so if I draw them to the scale, the resultant will come out to be this much. Right, now I have drawn a bar and b bar and I'm adding them using the parallelogram law. Okay, so resultant is shown by the parallelogram law. So it's this diagonal of the parallelogram. So how much is this? It will be 2 times p bar. Right, got it? Yes, no?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so now for simplicity I have drawn p bar and q bar along x and y axis. You can draw them anywhere, or I can just rotate this diagram so that they no longer point out in, but I have no option to rotate this. No, I can just, okay, in this software there is no option to rotate, but you can just rotate it so they will not point out in x and y direction, right? But this is okay, good for understanding.
Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay, so the angle will be 0. Yeah, and you can add vectors like this. There is no problem in doing that. Okay, I am not adding numbers, I am adding them with direction.
Okay, sir.
Okay, let's see next question. Given that magnitude of p bar is equal to magnitude of q bar, what is angle between p bar plus q bar and p bar minus q bar? So can you tell me?
1 minute.
Okay,
90 degrees, sir.
yeah, it will be 90 degrees. Very good. So if magnitude of p bar and q bar is equal, okay, that means the resultant, if this is resultant of p bar and q bar, then it will be inclined at an angle of 45 degrees to p bar and q bar also, if magnitudes are equal, right? If magnitudes are equal, then if you add vectors using parallelogram law, that parallelogram will become what? A square. Okay, yes, no, Raghu?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you have p bar minus q bar. So if p is equal to q, then this is resultant of p bar minus q bar. B bar is equal to p bar minus q bar. So it will be also inclined at an angle of 45 degrees to p. So how much will be angle between p bar plus q bar and p bar minus q bar? So this angle is 90 degrees. Okay, this is the answer. Right? So very good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So now you can think this way, and this is the actually very fast way. Okay, or otherwise you can use the formula also. Okay, but you will have to. How did you solve, Sai? You used formula?
This method only, sir.
This method only. Okay, very good. Right, so using formula it will take some time. Okay, so let's see next one. So the minimum number of coplanar vectors to give zero resultant are. Tell me. Minimum number of coplanar vectors to give zero resultant are. Actually this is repeated question.
Option 1, sir.
Yeah, it's option A or 1. Right? You need only two vectors. Minimum number of coplanar vectors to give zero resultant are 2. Okay, they are not saying equal, unequal. Okay, and yes, yes, Sai.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so anyways they will not be equal. But now if you remove this coplanar and you replace that with non-coplanar, okay, then what will be your answer?
Option 3, sir.
It will be option
3.
will it be 3?
Answer is 4, sir. No, sir. Answer will be 4.
3 or 4?
Answer is 4, sir.
Answer is 4. Okay, how do you know? Answer is 4 or your guess is 4?
I guess is 4, sir.
Okay, your guess is 4. Right. So actually, see, if you draw two vectors, this is one vector, this is second vector. Okay, so this is one vector, this is second vector. Now you tilt this second vector like anything. Okay, so these two vectors, you can always draw a plane comprising those two vectors. And if you can always draw a plane comprising two vectors, then you can draw the resultant also in that plane. Got it? Yes, no? See, what I'm saying is you have two vectors. This is one vector, okay, and this is second vector. You rotate it in any ways. Okay, for simplicity I will take 90 degrees. You can take any angle and you rotate this. Keep one vector as it is, rotate the second vector. Okay, just rotate it by any angle. Okay, so then you keep it like anything. Still, suppose I have kept it like this, so there will be always a plane. Okay, and that plane will contain those two vectors. So if it contains those two vectors, that means it will contain the resultant also. Okay, and so now what do you need? So the plane will have this vector, and the resultant also. So that means I need this third vector only. Okay, so sorry, this is A bar, this is B bar, and this one will be C bar. Addition of these three is equal to 0. So even if I have three vectors whose resultant is 0, I haven't gone outside of a plane. I can always draw a plane which will contain those three vectors. Okay, so what will be the answer? Answer will be 4 actually. To go out of a plane, you will need another vector. Okay, not for this question. If you have non-coplanar vectors, then how many vectors will you need to give 0 resultant? You will need 4 vectors. Okay,
Okay, sir.
you are correct, Raghu. So can you imagine this? This will need some imagination. Okay, so you can think like this. This is your first vector, second vector is like this. So can you draw a plane containing first and second one? You can draw. So if you can draw a plane containing first and second one, then what you have to do? So if you take one more vector and addition of those three 0, in what direction will you have to draw that vector? Starting from end point of second one to the start point of first one, right? Starting from end point of second one to the start point of first one. So will this vector be outside of this plane? Answer is no. Okay, so it means that if you have three vectors whose resultant is 0, you are still in one plane only. Okay, so if question is like this, they are non-coplanar vectors. So how many such vectors will you need? So if resultant of three vectors is 0, they are still coplanar vectors. So you need one more vector, at least one more vector to go out of a plane.
Okay, sir.
Right? So for an example, you take this is first, this is second. Now they are in plane. Now if I take this vector like, okay, one vector like this, so can I say that these are coplanar now? Now they are not coplanar. But three vectors I need such that they are non-coplanar, and now I will need fourth vector. So you can always draw a line starting from one point, okay, sorry, the end point of this vector to start point of this vector. Okay, so now four of them will have 0 resultant, right? So I am using two vectors, any two vectors, they will be in one plane. So now I am saying I want non-coplanar vectors. So third vector I will use to take it out of a plane. Okay, so I will not keep it in this plane. Third vector I will draw out of the plane. But now is the resultant 0? It's not 0. So to make it 0, I will need one more vector, right? So that's why answer would be 4. Okay, so for non-coplanar vectors, answer would be 4. Is this thing clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, Sai? All right.